Blogs can play a number of very important or very impactful roles in B2B website performance overall if done with the right intention, in line with the right strategy, and applied in the right ways. And, a large part of that is the fact that still, for now, blogging is an incredibly reliable and predictable SEO strategy, meaning that unlike backlinks, which are incredibly high value but incredibly hard to get at scale, blogging is something you can have full control over. You can create it at your own pace with confidence and create content that's targeted to and aligned to keywords that you want to be found for. And it's all in your control to do so. So it's a very powerful technique because you can do as much or as little of it as you want, but the result, the impact will be relatively predictable. Each post you write is a page that can be indexed by Google, can be served to searchers for a keyword that's aligned to the topic and the title that you're writing about, and can bring visitors into your website. So it's a very powerful strategy that most businesses would be wise to keep in their overall marketing strategy for now. Perhaps the mistakes that people make is they know that blogging is important, or they know that blogging is a strategy they should employ, but before they work out what effective blogging is, they start creating content that speaks to internal stakeholders or reports on company news, and really doesn't align to what personas or buyers are searching for or interested in. And blogging about those internally relevant topics isn't going to have the impact that businesses need, isn't going to drive the traffic into their site. So the first thing to get right is to create content that's aimed outward, aimed at your buyer, so that you're writing about topics that they might be searching for, and using those to bring visitors from long tail queries predominantly into your site. But if you organize those blog posts around topics in clusters and you correctly internally link them, then the SEO benefit goes to a new level, whereas instead of simply attracting 1 or 2 visitors a month from a low volume, long tail search query, you're now passing relevance and authority to a page, either a pillar page or a website product or service page, that's optimized for a competitive high volume term that lots of buyers use to search for solutions. And so blogging organized around topics and internally linked correctly takes on this additional level of power, still in this predictable, controllable way that you can pretty much rely on to produce the result you're looking for. You may not know the scale of the size of the result you're going to get every time, but you know what result you can expect, which is more traffic, and increasingly more traffic further along the purchase process if you do it right. So blogging in B2B is still a fantastic way to bring visitors into your site, to be found for some pretty competitive terms if you do enough of it, or you do it for long enough and you do it well enough. I think the other thing that businesses need to bear in mind, or a piece of advice I give them frequently, is that blogging is the way into your world, and it shouldn't be, in my opinion, the way out. So for example, when you're weighing up what to put in the very limited, very valuable space on your website's main navigation, for example, it's not important or vital, in my opinion, to have blogs, or even resources necessarily predominantly there, which is offering visitors a way to click their way out of your site, as it were. They should be part of the journey in, that are discovered via search and via social predominantly, not via your website's main navigation, and bringing people into your website, into your product and service pages to discover what it is you offer and what you do, and to go on to express their interest in purchasing. So treating them as such, treating them as a way in, and making sure you're not overly promoting and pushing them either through your navigation or even through modules throughout the rest of your commercial website. Recent posts, our latest ebook. It's okay to have these featured around your website, but don't go out of your way to, cram them into every page or position them high up, because you're just giving people ways out of the important information, which they're pretty unlikely to utilize, but it's also diluting the focus and the impact of your core commercial content. So do those few things consistently, and blogging can play a very important role in creating significant amounts of steady traffic to your website. And the act of blogging it's constructive because it helps you to think in terms of content creation, and you're also probably going to be creating content for social channels that you utilize. You're also going to need content for videos that you produce, for podcast episodes that you want to create. And blogging is a really great way to keep those creative juices flowing. So there's another benefit in terms of your wider content strategy while you're doing it. So lots of reasons, lots of roles of blogging in B2B website success still today. Some will still think of blogging as a key component of a lead gen strategy. A blog is a way to get a visitor to your site that otherwise wouldn't have been there, and the focus, the emphasis is on converting those visitors into leads to then be nurtured. And you can do that by putting calls to action that take people to landing pages where they convert on guides and so on and so forth, or thrusting a subscribe to our newsletter, subscribe to our blog, call to action to them in many different places and points. But, for a long time now, newsletter subscription has been a pretty poor performing CTA on the majority of B2B websites. Buyers are not on our sites to sign up to yet another email digest, which the majority of which aren't going to hold the value, the long-term value, or quality in some cases, that justify the giving up of privacy and the sharing of those contact details. So if you've had a subscribe to newsletter, subscribe to our blog, call to action on your website for some time, you'll probably already be able to see just how poor performing it is. Offering people content in the form of ebooks behind forms and landing pages usually performs better than that at getting people to convert. But the reality today is that people who do convert on those offers are so unlikely to be your ideal customer and in a buying process or likely to go on to buy, that optimizing your blog post layout, optimizing your blogging strategy around lead generation is unlikely to produce great results anymore. Blog posts should be used to show credibility, capability, expertise, to build trust, to be found by buyers as they research the topic, hopefully many times over the purchase process. If a buyer finds you in their search results 5 or 6 times, your name is going to start to stick in their minds, and they're going to start to build some sort of opinion of you. And if the content's good, a positive one, which can really contribute to the creation of demand if they're researching a topic they haven't yet decided how to solve, and create the affinity between them and your brand that really is valuable when they later go on to convert, because the majority of buyers will now wait until they're ready to purchase to convert on a B2B website. So if your blogging and blog content has built a strong preference for your brand in that buyer's mind, then they'll come to you when they're ready to purchase. But if you turn that buyer, that visitor, into a lead with an attractive ebook, statistics show us that your ability to convert them through nurturing, through outreach, through all sorts of other techniques is really diminishing. And so it's not a path to success anymore. So optimizing blogging and blog content for lead generation is an outdated model, whereas optimizing it for demand generation, creating that trust and that affinity, is a sound strategy going forward.